Terry Blackburn here. I have a property portfolio worth over £10 million. I've built and sold multiple companies, some in seven-figure deals. I wrote two successful books, one won awards all over the world. All of these awards behind me are national and international awards for some of my companies. Coach people one-on-one, and I run masterminds. Now, if you like what I talk about in this session, if you listen to my podcast, you follow us on Instagram, you follow the YouTube page, if you like what I talk about and I resonate with you and you can relate to me, jump on my website, which is terryblackburnproperty.com. All of the different services that I have is on there. I'd love to work with you and I'd love to help you get to where you want to be, whether that's in property, whether that's in business, whether it's in sales, goal setting, whatever it is that you want to achieve and want to learn. I'm your man. Enjoy the rest of the episode and speak soon.
Hi, and welcome to the Rags to Riches show with myself, Terry Blackburn. So today's episode is all about how to make the next 6 months count. You maybe had a poor 6 months previously. You've maybe a bit frustrated. You're not making the progress that you want. There is something that you can do, and I'm going to share with you a step-by-step process of how exactly you can change the next 6 months. The good news is we all have a choice how we act today, right? And we have a choice how we act tomorrow. We have a choice what we do in our behaviours, our habits and choices going forward. So just because maybe you've had a difficult 6 months or a difficult year or a difficult few years, that doesn't mean that determines your future, right? We all have ups and downs. We all have lulls. We all have some times in our personal lives and business and careers that maybe don't go to plan. But the good news is I'm going to share with you a step-by-step process on exactly how you can flick the switch, exactly how you can change the next 6 months and make the next 6 months a few months that really count, that you make some proper progress in the pursuit of those things that you've always wanted. Okay? So let's get straight into it. So the first thing that you need to do, I touched on it a little bit there, is you have to forget the past, right? You might have just, ended a relationship. You might have had some health issues. You might have, had to shut a business down, had some real financial issues. You might have, got yourself in debt. I don't know, right? But whatever it is and however bad it is, even if it was horrific, you have to think like this, that the past is the past for a reason. It no longer matters. It doesn't determine your future unless you let it, of course. If you let the past determine your habits, choices and behaviours going forward, you're going to stay in the same place. If you do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got, right? So if you act the same way you did in the past, going forward, you're just going to end up in the same place or potentially even worse. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to understand that the past is the past for a reason. Forget it. It's done. Move on. Yeah, regardless how bad it was. And I'm sure there's some people listening to this who maybe had some really challenging times, but forget it, right? It doesn't matter. If you dwell on it and feel sorry for yourself, then is that going to change it? Is that going to make it any better? It's actually making it worse, because if you're giving your past time and energy and focus, what are you focusing on? Are you focusing on bad things that have happened to you, or hard times or issues or problems, right? You're giving your energy and your time and your brain space to the wrong thing. What you need to be doing is giving your time, energy, brain space to the future, right? What am I going to do today and tomorrow and next week in order to get the life that I want? Whether that's property, whether that's business, whether it's sales, whether it's whatever, you need to be focusing on the future, not the past. So that's step one. You have to, because I see a lot of people who've almost got chains on them, and they've got shackles that are holding them back. And the reason they've got them is just whatever's happened to them in the past, right? And I know it's easier said than done if you've had a horrific past, but you have a choice. You have a choice to move past them or a choice to focus on them. And if you want to progress and get to a different place, the only way to do it is forget it. Forget the past. It's done. Yeah? Step one, forget the past. Step two is get your mindset right. Okay? So the fact that you listen to this podcast alone tells me that you're probably interested in business, interested in property, interested in being motivated by me. You're interested in growing, entrepreneurship, wealth, money, all that, right? So you're halfway there. but you need to keep it up. You need to be a little bit obsessed with podcasts, with audio books, with self-development, with books. I read probably a book a month, and I do at least 4 or 5 podcasts every week. And I normally do an audio book a week as well. I'm literally obsessed with it and have been since I was probably 21. I'm 35 now. I don't know how many books. I should really look at that, actually. I don't know how many books I've actually read, but it's in the hundreds for sure. And you need to just become a little bit obsessed with it, right? Because if you do, right, think about if you read a book on motivation, or let's say you're interested in property and you start to read loads of books on property. You listen to all my podcasts I've done about property. What's going to happen is you're going to become more motivated to do property. You're going to learn something and upskill yourself. You're going to become more knowledgeable. And all of those things can only be a positive in the pursuit of those property goals, right? It will change your mindset on things. When you listen to interviews of people that are buying loads and loads of properties and worth hundreds of millions of pounds, it motivates you and it does improve your mindset. If you're still really struggling, get a mentor. Like, as you know, I mentor people one-to-one in a mastermind. If you need someone to give you a kick up the arse and you need some motivation, I believe I'm one of the best out there for that. I've run sales teams. Sales teams needed motivated pretty much daily for the best part of 12 years. And that's my background, as you know. So you might need a mentor. You might not. But the mindset, so if you forget the past first, then the mindset shift has to happen. The positivity needs to come. The self-belief needs to go up. The self-doubt needs to drop. And then you need to open your mind to what can you achieve, because I'm no different to you. I know some people that are worth hundreds of millions. They are no different to me, and they are no different to you. Everybody started in the same place, apart from the rich kids of the world, right? And I'm guessing that if you listen to this, you're probably not one of them, because I'm not one of them. Yeah, they had an advantage, but some people, maybe if they started with £1 million, they've turned that into billions, right? But most of us, we didn't have silver spoons, so we've had to make it ourselves. But loads of people at the top, I think the stat is 80% of millionaires are self-made. So regardless where you started, you need to be thinking, right, these people at the top are no different to me. I can achieve what they have achieved. And then you focus, you get to work, and you're off, okay? Forget the past, improve the mindset. The next thing that you need to do before you take any action, right, as in any implementation of your plan, is healthy lifestyle. So if you aren't healthy, right, let's say you're really overweight and unhealthy and you eat shit all the time and you smoke and you drink and you take drugs and you do all that, right? I would argue with anybody, you are not going to achieve your goals as quick or ever if you have an unhealthy lifestyle. If you have a healthy lifestyle, you are definitely more likely to achieve it, and probably in a quicker time frame. So the basic things, as I know you know this, but going to the gym, exercising, water, reasonable diet, and good sleep. Yeah, that's a healthy lifestyle. And you're not using drugs and you're not doing all the stupid things that a lot of people get up to. It goes without saying, right? So forget the past, shift the mindset, get yourself healthy, and then you're in a good place, right? You've got a good mind, good body. You are in a position now to start making some moves and making some progress. The next step is, I've talked about this in a previous podcast, you maybe just want to go back and listen to it, is build your plan. So whatever your goal is for the next, let's just call it 6 months, because that's the title of this podcast. For the next 6 months, set yourself a goal. I want to buy 3 properties in the next 6 months. Fantastic. Then you build a plan. So, okay, what I need to now do is, how many viewings do I need to do each week? Spend a couple of hours on Rightmove each week. 5 to 10 viewings maybe. Maybe it's a little bit less. Make offers on everything. Maybe raise some money, do some networking events. Is there something that you need to learn over the next 6 months? Do you need a mentor to teach you something? You might not. You might get it from podcasts or books. But what I'm trying to get to here is, you're just building a plan. Yeah? Because if you want to achieve more in the next 6 months than you did in the last 6 months, you need a plan to do that. You're a lot more likely to achieve anything if you have a plan. Of course you are. And this is honestly one of the most common questions I get asked, is about building a plan. And a plan doesn't need to be a complex 100-page business plan. It can be as simple as, that's where I want to get to. These are the action points that I need to take throughout the months and weeks ahead, in some weekly targets. Remember, not monthly, not quarterly, not annual targets. You've got an annual goal, or maybe it's a 6-month goal, but you need weekly targets. Yeah, honestly, it's essential. It's a non-negotiable in my book, because even if you set a monthly target, right? You say, I don't know, you want to make 10 grand this month, right? Week one goes by, you've got 3 weeks left. You'll let yourself off because you know that you've got 3 weeks left. Week one doesn't go to plan. It's fine. I've got 3 weeks to make it up. Whereas if you just said, right, I need to make 2.5 grand a week, I might get a Wednesday and you'll be thinking, shit, I haven't made the money now. I've only got till Friday. And you push yourself, right? You're a lot more likely to achieve stuff if you set the weekly goals and the weekly targets. So step forward, start to build a plan. And once you've built that plan, right, that's not that difficult to build a plan. The hardest bit about this process is the next step, which is you have to take huge action, right? Whatever you've set yourself on that plan over the next 6 months, you need to take more action than you did the last 6 months. If you're used to doing 2 viewings a week, do 4, do 5. You need to double activity from the last 6 months. You need to do more in the next 6 months than you did in the last one. It's pretty obvious. If you want to achieve something new, you've got to do new actions, new levels of action, new choices, new habits, new behaviors, whatever. You've got to do that in order to get to that new place. You can't skip the reps on this. You can't get the goal without doing the work. And unfortunately, in this day and age, everybody wants to be rich yesterday by doing no fucking work. It doesn't work like that in reality. Yes, there's loads of these kids who do crypto and it looks like they're making a load of money. Half the time it's not even true. And second of all, they haven't learned anything. They've put some money into a shitty coin. It's went through the roof and they made a load of money. They're the people that'll probably waste that money because they haven't actually made it, have they? It's just complete luck. That's not the real world, right? Unless you want to do betting on crypto. Like, I wouldn't advise that to anybody. So you've got to take action, more action than before in the next 6 months to pull yourself out of this lull, to pull yourself out of the trough and get to the peak. We all have peaks and troughs, ups and downs, everybody, me included. But if you're in a lull, you're in a trough, in order to peak it, in order to step it up and achieve something new, you have to step up the action. Grant Cardone talks about this a lot, massive action and all of these things. It's completely right. You're not going to achieve what you want unless you take in the action. And just remember, like, nobody else is going to be able to change this for you. Nobody. I can motivate you. I can help you build a plan. I can help you set the action points, but I can't drag you out of bed on a Tuesday morning, right? I can't. You have to do that. Great phrase is, if it's to be, it's up to me. As in you. Yeah? So you're the only person that can change this. You're the only person that can make the next 6 months count and the next 6 months actually matter. Likewise, if you fuck up over the next 6 months, that's on you. It's not the market's fault. It's not the economy's fault. It's not Labour or the Tories' fault. It's not your parents' fault or your partner's fault or the fact you've got kids and you can't do it. It's bollocks. I've got 4 kids, 11 companies and loads of stuff going on in my life. Like, it's hard for me too, right? But I'm still taking action. And I was taking action when I was 19. So whether you've got loads of personal stuff on or none, you've still got to take action. No one else is going to change it apart from you. So I hope by now I've motivated you, and I hope I've made you realise that everybody has ups and downs. And the only way out is to change it. Take ownership, forget the past, flick the switch on the mindset. Make sure you're healthy. That's body and mind. Reading books, listening to audios, listening to podcasts, and getting yourself in the gym, plenty of water, good diet. Build a plan, set the goal and build a plan, and then take massive action. And if you do that, the success is pretty much guaranteed. Whatever goal you set, it's going to happen if you do that over a long enough time frame. Yes, the time frame might differ depending on how big the goal is. But if you do all those things, forget the past, change the mindset, healthy lifestyle, build a plan with the goal, and take action relentlessly, it's going to happen. So I'll end on a note and just say to you, are you going to make the next 6 months count? Or are you going to make the next 6 months the same as the last 6 months? Are you just going to be in the same place in 6 months' time as you are right now? Because the only way that's going to change is if you change your mindset and your actions. That's it. So if you enjoyed the episode, please... I'm trying to think of the call to action, but...
I like what what you did on the first one. Just to say,
Should I just do that again? Yeah, because
say like share it.
Because they don't really subscribe on that anymore. Yeah, okay, I'll do that. So if you've enjoyed this episode today, please subscribe on either Apple Podcast or Spotify. Maybe send us a message on Instagram. I'd love your feedback, and hopefully I've helped you. And if you think I can help somebody else, share this podcast with them as well. So thank you so much for listening, and remember, don't just take notes, take action.